All right, who doesn't love a good chicken piccata? I know it's one of my husband's favorites. So, all you need is chicken breasts. I've already sliced one up. This is the second one. So I want to show you how easy it is. You just lay your hand flat. Don't cut your hand off or anything. And you just kind of, as you push it down, you pull your knife through and it comes out perfectly thin. And that is the secret to a good chicken piccata, is a good thin slice of chicken. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to dredge it in flour, which I have right there. There you are. And I like to cut them in, they just look nicer when they're a little smaller, I think. And then we turn the pan on. I've got some butter in there already. It's good to cut your butter into smaller pieces and it melts faster. And then I'm going to take some salt. You've got to season everything, folks, everything. Pepper. And look, here's a cool trick I learned on TikTok. Tasting spoons, or spoons you need for anything while you're cooking. Leave them on the table. It's the handiest thing I've ever done for all my cooking. So, okay, so I'm mixing up all that, so that's ready to go. And now I'm just going to give it a quick dredge in the flour. And now that the butter is starting to melt, I'm going to add my olive oil. Don't be afraid to use butter and oil. And you know, everything's better with butter, especially chicken piccata. And don't ever put the meat in the pan until it's nice and hot. Otherwise, things stick. And that is not what we want. All right, so our pan is nice and hot. Gonna give it another minute. So here's what goes in it. Salt, pepper, parsley. We've got chicken broth, homemade, of course. We've got capers, white wine, lemon, and then I'm gonna zest a little lemon in there as well. So that's all of our ingredients. And here we go. Hear the sizzle? That's how you know the pan is ready to go. Okay. Maybe we can stick one more of these in here. Right there. With gloves, it's a little, you have a little more freedom to touch things because you're not actually hand touching. So don't do what I just did if you're not wearing gloves. Use some tongs. I will get them for turning them over. All right, so I think we're done with these gloves actually right now because I'm going to use the tongs from here on out. And I'm going to get a pot pan to put these in when they're done. So we can put that right there. And we're going to save the flour because we might need it for the sauce. Now you don't want to overcook these because they don't really need to be. They're thin. They're going to cook very quickly. These remind me of Dave. Dave's a chef I used to work with all the time. And he used to tell my husband, "You're a good man, James." Because my husband always runs out and gets everything for us when we forget stuff when we're catering. I don't know if we could cater if he wasn't doing that. Just focus on the All right, the last of them are coming off. Now we're going to start this off. So we're going to take our spoon again with the flour, and I like to sift it so that there doesn't have any lumps. I'm just putting a little bit because we don't have a ton of butter in there. I'm going to use this whisk right now. I'm just trying to get a little bit of thickness happening, so I don't want it to be too much. Maybe just a tad bit more flour. And then we're going to do our wine. And you want to get that little brown color on the flour so that it has a little caramely flavor. Now we're hitting the wet line. Probably about a cup, maybe, guessing. You know, you want it to stay a little thick because that's perfect. And then we're going to cook the wine off a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more, actually. You know, I don't really measure a lot, so let's say a cup and a half. So we'll cook that off for a minute. We want the alcohol to burn off. And again, we want to get that nice color. You don't want it to taste like flour. All right, now we're going to go in with our chicken broth. That's about a cup. Perfect. And now we can go in with our garlic. So here we go. That much garlic, that's about right. And then you'll just smell that happening as it goes. And now we're gonna go in with our lemon. Actually, we're gonna go in with our lemon zest first. Because you know, it's easier to zest before you cut the lemon in half. Just so you know. All right, perfect. Now we're gonna cut this in half. And then going in with our lemon juice. And since it's all about the lemon in chicken piccata, we're putting the whole lemon in. And you know, you want to have a good amount of sauce. You want your chicken to definitely be all soaked in the sauce. Now we'll go in with our salt and pepper. So salt just brings out the flavor. I know some people don't like to use a lot of it, but salt does bring out the flavor in every dish. So let's taste it again with my happy spoons right here. Whoa, delish. So I'm gonna let that cook for a minute. I'm gonna put a little bit of this caper juice in there. And we're going to throw in some capers now. And then you put the chicken back in. We're going to cook it for a little bit so that it marinates together, the two combine. And voila. The last thing you're going to do is plate it up. So let's take a couple pieces of chicken. Lovely. It's the best part. And all the capers. I should be using a bigger spoon. All right, and then your final note is the parsley. Some people put cheese, but traditional piccata is just like that. Enjoy. Make it at home. Subscribe. Thanks.